Well, right now we are covering some breaking news. The body of a missing boater has been found. Now, this comes following an accident in the St. Johns River earlier this week near the Buckman Bridge. On your side's Troy Kless is joining us live tonight with what we've learned. Troy?
Yeah, thank you, Heather. We have just confirmed with the Florida Fish and Wildlife Commission that over an hour ago, they have located Walter Williams, the 84-year-old, who again, he was the only occupant of his boat that crashed here into the Buckman Bridge. Now, according to the FWC, they say that they found him about half a mile north of the bridge. Now, they didn't give us a specific location, but obviously this brings the tragic end to a over 48-hour search for Williams after, again, the Jacksonville Fire and Rescue Department says that a witness saw his boat speeding into the bridge. Obviously, this is still a very early and ongoing investigation by the Florida Fish and Wildlife, who is leading it. And right now, the St. Johns County Sheriff's Office, they shared the news not too long ago, and they're also asking that people keep the Williams family in their thoughts and prayers at the moment. Again, we're going to continue following any updates once we receive them. But for now, we are live on the St. Johns River. Troy Kless, First Coast News, on your side.